Guess what department? Psychology.
Okay.
So anyway, it's a very entertaining guy. I urge everybody to go look him up and read his book called Happiness Advantage. What he says is we are conditioned to index our happiness to our success. So that, and then our success usually looks like getting this job, getting this company, selling this company, building this, whatever the case may be. But guess what? Those goals shift all the time. And by the time you achieve one, you've got something else. So therefore, success never comes.
Right.
And as a result, happiness never comes.
Right.
You're constantly searching. So he says, you have to put it the other way around. In other words, you have to make yourself, the goal is to be happy. Happiness will then bring success.
Right.
The point of the conversation is, he says, one of the ways to be happy is to look for the positive, focus on the positive, right? So be grateful for what you have and things like that. Now, lawyers are conditioned and trained methodically to always look for the negative.
Right.
And therefore, they are the most depressed group of people in the society.
Right.
So because their job is to look for the contingencies, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when I just heard you say, oh, my sister, I'll give you 10 reasons. They are conditioned and trained to look for the negative. And that's why they all miserable.
Right. You know, it was when she brought that up, I thought to myself, said, why does she need to do this? Because as an entrepreneur, when you have an idea and you bring it out to the world, there's a million different things that will cause it to die. Right. And so, you know, I was like, because and that's natural. There's natural for that. And I was like, why does she do this? And I find my finance people do the same thing. And then what I realized was that in legal and finance frameworks, a lot of what they've created are mental models and these human structures, and there's no natural decay in those human structures. Unlike, you know, if I put a piece of metal outside, over time it will decay, it will start to fall apart. These ideas, if you have an idea and you don't do anything to it, it'll stay there, you know, just the way it is. And so maybe they need to be that natural decay, you know, that's their training, is to tear apart that way, to cause decay so that things can be rebuilt better later. But I find it very frustrating, and at the wrong time of trying to launch an idea, it can kill it. You know, I think there's a right time for those ideas and messaging, and then there's other times where you need to have a little bit of faith and hope, and you know, see what you can connect.
Well, listen, the whole world. There's a documentary that is available on History Channel called "The Man Who Built America."
Oh yeah.
So it's a great documentary. And it's the story of how J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, and Carnegie, and Vanderbilt did their thing. And at the end of the day, it's not the mechanics, it's the vision, it's the idea. That's what generates wealth, and that's what needs to be supported more. However, all those ideas, vision, and whatever the case may be, need the finance people, need the lawyers. Unfortunately, what happens is that there is a balance. And then, in fact, one of the politicians a long time ago said something. He said, our body needs to be strong in order to carry ourselves. But there are also parasites that are constantly threatening our health.
Right.
He says the thing is, some of those parasites are useful.
Right.
You just want to make sure that they don't get too strong, because they get strong at the expense of your health.
Got it.
So parasites are necessary, but they need to be strong enough to stay healthy, but also weak enough to allow you to be healthy enough. So I'm not putting analogy for lawyers and finance people as parasites. That's not the case. What I'm getting at is there has to be a balance between regulating the vision and allowing the vision to prosper. Because at the end of the day, guess what? You can regulate and calculate all day long. When things are going south,
Yes.
guess what gets us out? It's a vision,
Right.
and it's courage,
Yes.
and ultimately that's what America was founded on, right?
Yeah.
So it's we kind of lose sight of it from time to time, but it's an interesting situation.
Yeah.
I tell you, I would have loved to be sitting with you in your father's class.
Oh yeah.
Such a blast.
Kicker is that he's a child psychologist, so all these people were studying
Oh my
child
God.
psychology.
Cool. So Oscar, it's great. I mean, philosophical. Now I can see why you and I can talk philosophy.